Today's video is gonna be a little bit different because we're getting a little bit chatty and I have to get ready for work. So I thought this would be a great time to get ready together and talk about some things happening in the beauty community that piqued my interest and which actually kind of made me mad. Hi, my name is Lauren if you're new here. If you're not new and you're coming back, thank you. You're amazing. If you haven't had a chance yet, please hit that subscribe button. We're so close to hitting my goal of 1,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, what I wanted to talk about is Jaclyn Hill. Jaclyn Hill, and her video came out a couple weeks ago now, but she came out and announced that she was closing 2 of her brands. So her Cozy brand and her Jaclyn Roxanne, which is a jewelry brand, both those will be coming to an end. And I actually, first I watched a couple like tea videos about this. I didn't really want to go and watch her video, but I did. I did. And I have a lot of notes and I have a lot of thoughts about what she said and more specifically what she didn't say. So I thought, let's just get together. Let's get ready for the day. I have some meetings coming up, so it's probably good that I'm a little bit fiery already. So yeah, I'm just gonna get ready. I'm gonna, like, my mirror's down here, so if I'm looking down here, I'm either looking at my mirror or I could potentially be looking at my notes. Either way, let's just get into it. I did take like 3 pages of notes on her video. I don't have anything on my face except for my Supergoop glow screen because I always wear sunscreen. That is the #1 most important thing. And I'm gonna start, I have been just absolutely obsessed lately with Sydney Grace's liquid eyeshadow. So I have the color Cliff Jumping. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and then I'm just gonna start talking about all my notes that I took. So if you do not know who Jaclyn Hill is, she is what we would call an OG beauty YouTuber. She's been in the beauty sphere for a long time. She kind of came up when it became more prominent, where beauty gurus actually became a thing on YouTube and they were getting millions of views, millions of subs. She herself currently sits at 5.56 million subscribers. So she is a large channel. And granted, like, it's taken her years and years, right? I have somehow managed to get liquid eyeshadow all over the place, but that's fine. What I like about this stuff is it dries down and it doesn't move. So she has, you know, spent considerable time building her reputation as a beauty guru, right? She is supposed to be knowledgeable in this field and she's supposed to love this field. You would think. Now, I myself never really got into Jaclyn Hill. I wasn't really into makeup when she hit kind of her stride, and I was never really into her style of makeup. She tends to wear much heavier makeup than I like, so it was never really my style. Most of the OG beauty gurus, just the way that they applied their makeup, so heavy, so much makeup, was never something that I was really gonna get into. So I never really watched her. But you know, I always kept an ear out for her because I loved beauty content and she was knowledgeable and really passionate about makeup, at least back in the day. Fast forward to today, and I don't know if anyone would really say that anymore. I feel like everyone has kind of come to the agreement that she's a business owner and she likes money. So that's kind of how she's viewed today, at least in the public sphere. Now, she goes into this video first off announcing that she's shutting down Cozy, her homeware line, and Jaclyn Roxanne, which is her jewelry line. And one thing she says, again, I gotta check my notes because I wrote all of this down, is she loves and is proud of those 2 lines, but they don't excite her. And I wouldn't be too excited about overpriced jewelry or blankets either. And that was what the reviews were saying, that these 2 lines just felt like cash grabs because while the blankets were nice, the jewelry was nice, it wasn't good quality, but they were selling at these highly marked up prices. So you can get one of those really soft blankets from Target for like 20 bucks. I have like 5 of them. They're amazing. I love them. And I just feel like, who doesn't like cozy homeware, right? You could have done something with that. And it feels like a missed opportunity. It feels like what it was, in my opinion, a cash grab. Okay, so I'm going into my NYX Epic Ink Liner now. This is hard to do on camera, so give me one sec. Phew, okay, eyeliner is on. I'm going to be putting on the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes. I actually really like this mascara for work. I've been wearing it a lot. She immediately talks about her lipstick scandal, and she brings it up because for her, what she says over and over again is she always wanted makeup to be her legacy, which is one of the reasons why she's shutting down her other brands. Makeup is supposed to be her legacy. That is what she's most passionate about. So she brings up the lipstick scandal. She says that she really regrets how she handled it. She says that she felt like she gave up on her little girl dream. She claims she was surrounded by yes men. So again, one common thing we see with Jaclyn Hill is that she never takes accountability for her actions. She never says anything about how, you know, part of the reason why people were upset about that scandal was that she denied, right? She just gaslighted everyone. She said it wasn't her fault. It was everyone else's fault. And again, she's doing it, right? That's what she's doing. She's saying she was surrounded by yes men. She's so sorry for the way that she handled it. But again, it really, like, on one hand, she's saying she's taking accountability, but then on the other hand, she's not taking any accountability at all. So it kind of like leaves me confused, because it's like, well, are you gonna address the fact that you denied, and then finally was like, okay, I'll offer refunds, you know, when push came to shove? Because if you didn't know, the issue with her lipstick launch was that people were getting these lipsticks and they were finding things in them, like fibers, pieces of metal, just a lot of debris seemed to be in these lipsticks, which is super concerning. You know, you do quality tests to prevent stuff like that from being put on shelves, even though at that point it wasn't in the store or anything, but you know what I mean, right? So just deny. And it's just like, Jaclyn, like, it's so far in the past. Have you still not come to the realization? People are mad because you are not taking any responsibility. If you had taken responsibility right away and gone through the process of fixing these mistakes instead of moving on to the next venture, I think people would have respected that and they would have bought your next launch. You have a gigantic audience. Back then, now you still do. And it's like, there are simple steps to rectify these mistakes. It really is simple. Like, nobody wants people to be like, oh, it's not me, it's you, right? And that's what she was doing. She was blaming her audience, her fans, the people who went in, bought her stuff. She was like, well, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's not my fault. It's the lab's fault. It's everyone else's fault. It's not my fault. And it's just like, you're the brand owner, right? Or are you? We'll get into that. She claims she came out with new brands because she felt like she had to prove herself to her followers. So again, instead of going through the steps to rectify her mistake with this lipstick launch of actually releasing great products, she was like, I'm gonna move on to other brands. So on one hand, when she said that, that confused me, because she was still coming out with makeup. Like, she had her Jaclyn Cosmetics line, so she was still producing makeup, but these were just additional lines. So why didn't you just focus on the makeup, right? Because that's what she supposedly was the most passionate about. She didn't really care about these other brands. Like, she just put them out because people told her to put them out. Sure. Okay, for primer, I'm going to go into my Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. I am so close to being done with this little travel size. So it's in my project pan. Let's give it some use. When she went into the explanation as to why she was closing down these two brands, she said a couple things. If you've been kind of keeping track of what's been going on in this situation, you might have heard this, but she claims like she didn't want to be known as the cozy girl or the blanket girl. Now, why is this an issue? Why is that particular line an issue to me? So if you didn't know the background with her cozy line, it's like this whole thing. I definitely recommend you looking into any video. There's so many videos out there talking about this situation. But basically what she did is she took this name, Cozy, and she trademarked it. And she didn't realize that there was someone else in a very similar sphere in Canada, Kaylin, who already had a line that was spelled the same, except she pronounced it Coz. And Kaylin had talked about, you know, when this first happened, like, trademarking is very expensive, especially in Canada. So she hadn't gone through the process of trademarking it. And she had tried to reach out over Instagram to, you know, this account that she saw pop up. She had heard it was Jaclyn Hill's account. And so she reached out to the account, didn't hear anything. And then, you know, Jaclyn Hill made a post and basically put the trademark symbol next to her cozy logo. So kind of implying that it was now trademark. So Jaclyn, who had this Co's brand and had been building this brand for 5 years, basically decided, I don't want to be associated with this name anymore. When people search for it, the first thing that pops up is now going to be Jaclyn Hill's brand. It's not going to be mine. So all that work and effort she put into it, she decided to rebrand, which is so heartbreaking. So Jaclyn Hill talks about this a little bit. She never mentions Jaclyn's name, which I find to be really interesting. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, we know her name. So I'm going into the Tower 28 SunnyDays Broad Spectrum SPF. I have mine in the color 15 Melrose. This is another item on my project pan. And Jaclyn says that she failed as a brand owner because she should have done her due diligence and she should have reached out or she should have searched, but she claims that her trademark attorney, her attorney, had researched this and they were like, oh, you have the all clear, this isn't trademark, which is true, it's not. But if Jaclyn Hill had done her due diligence as the owner of this brand and simply searched for the name, she would have seen that a fellow creator already had it for years. And while it wasn't trademarked, it is being actively used, right? Like it just, like her excuses where she's just like, I should have done this, I failed as a brand owner. It's just pure laziness. It's like, you could have done a Google search that takes 2 seconds and you could have seen that this brand existed and was like, clearly had a following. She didn't do that. She did not do that. And getting back to my point where, you know, I found it offensive that she said that she didn't want to be known as the cozy girl. It's like, well, Jaclyn did. Jaclyn put in that work to have that brand recognition, and you took that all away from her for a brand that closed after, I don't know how long this brand has been out. It can't have been for more than a year, right? And Jaclyn worked on her brand for over 5 years. So like she basically destroyed this woman's brand career for a cash grab that ultimately failed. That's my assumption. Like, we don't know if that's true, but why else would she shut it down, right? So she does claim that once she found out, you know, all this was going on, she and her team reached out to Jaclyn and never heard anything. And Jaclyn came back and said, you know, I don't really want to be a part of this drama, but I can say that this is incorrect. No, she and her team did not reach out. You know, she's like, I checked all my emails, I checked any inbox that I had, there was nothing in there. I'm using the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Correcting Concealer in C1 just to hopefully cover up some of the bags under my eyes. So yeah, so Jaclyn basically came out and was like, no, sorry, buddy, that's not what happened. You never reached out. And if you had, I would have seen it. Jaclyn just appears to be like a really untrustworthy character. You know, we've heard other things come out about her from other creators who worked with her and how she likes to say one thing and then switch the story. So a lot of what we've seen in terms of like her taking accountability is none. We haven't seen her take accountability because she doesn't believe in taking accountability. Okay, so now I'm setting my face with my Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder, also in my project pan. And I kind of wonder now, like now that it's been trademarked, now that, you know, the brand is closing down, can they give that trademark to Jaclyn? But then I'm pretty sure she wouldn't want it anymore, right? I don't think she wants to be associated with that name anymore. And I would not blame her. Like, what? Like, imagine like just pouring your heart and soul into something and having it, you know, kind of destroyed. It was kind of destroyed. She has to rebrand. So it's like she has to start over. How? And all for a cash grab that ultimately failed. So she goes on to claim that she never wanted to be the boss of 60 employees. She never wanted to be on Zoom meetings all day. Basically, she never wanted to run a business, which is interesting because she has so many businesses. So, you know, like, you could have hired the right people to run those businesses, right? That's what corporate America does. They have roles, they fill them with the right people, and then hopefully people get to do what they want to do. I mean, ideally, right? That's not really how it works in corporate America, but she could have hired a CEO so that she could have still been kind of the brains behind it, you know? She still could have been the creative person. Like, all she had to do was find the right people to do the business side of things. And my opinion, this is fully my opinion, but I think she decided that she wanted to be CEO because not only did she like the power, but she probably liked the money she was making from it, right? You're probably gonna make more money being the CEO of a company versus just being a creative or just being the face of it. But that is just my opinion. Okay, I'm going with the Saie Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer in Fair Bronze. And I'm using my Rose Ink Bronzer brush. I cannot say that today. My Rose Ink Bronzer brush. Wow, okay, I need some coffee in me ASAP. I'm obsessed with Rose Ink's blush brush. This is fantastic. So I'm curious about the bronzer one. Let's see. Oh, is it just as good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, this is like a super light bronzer, which isn't typically what I do for work. It's a little bit lighter. We're gonna go in again. So the next part, we're nearing the end. We're nearing the end of this. The next part, she claims that she is so proud that she had her brand in Ulta, but also she felt like she didn't deserve it. So she was doing the bare minimum to promote her brand in Ulta. And I was confused because I was like, wait a second, you said that you were closing these other two brands because makeup is your passion, makeup gets you excited. You had a makeup brand, you had a makeup brand in Ulta, and you didn't think you deserved it, you did the bare minimum. Isn't this what you wanted to do? Like, what do you want to do if this isn't it? Like, you told us that makeup was your passion, that makeup gets you excited, so you'd think you would be excited to promote it. And honestly, like, pretty sure since she like started on YouTube, she's kind of been known as someone that likes to do a lot of sponsored content. Sometimes without telling anyone that it's sponsored content. She was kind of there in the Wild Wild West days where you didn't really have to say when something was sponsored or not. So I think she kind of took advantage of that back in the day, which, you know, if it wasn't required, what can I say, right? It wasn't illegal back then. But it just feels like all over the place for me because it's like, on one hand, you're like saying you love your makeup, saying that it makes you excited. And then the next hand, you're like, oh, I don't deserve it. It's like, okay, so here's the question that she never talks about. Are you actually the owner of Jaclyn Cosmetics? I think enough information has come out now so that we know that she wasn't. She never was, right? She isn't. It's Morphe/Forma, whoever. I think Forma is probably the official owner, but they are the owner of Morphe. They do a bunch of brands. Like, they have like REM Beauty, which is Ariana Grande's line under them. Like, Jaclyn had worked with them so closely before. It just makes sense that they own her brand. So was she not really participating in the development of these products? Was she just selling them? Was she just shilling them? Like, what was going on, right? Okay, what was going on? Because you have your brand, right? I'm going with the ABH brow pencil in Taupe because I have no eyebrows. And it's just like, it's just so confusing to me because it's like, okay, she never addressed whether or not she is the owner of her brand. She's probably in too deep now, right? She said that she's the owner. Even with this documentation that's come out that has basically said that she's not, she still would probably say that she was. I don't know. But maybe she really didn't have much input into the products because she wasn't an owner. So maybe that's why she wasn't as passionate. That would make sense. If she had come out and said that, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. I could see why you weren't passionate. You really didn't have a hand in it. But then she basically ends this whole video selling something to us, right? She's selling, of course, because that's what she does. I mean, she made a comment about saying how her like Instagram and her YouTube is basically, it just feels like all ads now and she doesn't want that anymore. So she ends the video with an ad. Jaclyn Cosmetics, we don't know what's happening to that. She hasn't said whether it's going to continue. It seems like she doesn't know exactly right now, and that's probably because, you know, Forma went bankrupt. So they're trying to figure out what to do with the brand because they own the brand, because she doesn't own the brand, presumably. This is all my opinion, of course, don't sue me. But she ends this video by talking about the next launch for Jaclyn Cosmetics. And she's apparently excited about this one because she says, she claims that this next launch is her most creative and there's nothing like it, and it's this really innovative formula. So it's like, okay, what could this be? What do we think this could be? I'm going with the ABH Clear Brow Gel to set my brows. You know what it is because Trend Mood just came out with what it was. Highlighters. It's highlighters. This brand new, creative, just amazing new makeup product is highlighters. And she's calling them, let's see, they're called the Vanity Light Glaze Luminizers. Okay, lots of words in there. And it's a transforming high shine glazed balm that brings true radiance. So it's a highlighter. Do we think it's going to be something we haven't seen before? There's a lot of highlighters out on the market right now. Is it going to be new? I don't know. I don't know. From the pictures, I would say it's going to be a highlighter. Speaking of highlighters, I'm going in with the Saie Glow and Sculpt highlighter in Pinkglow. This one here. That is kind of how she ends it. And then she, you know, goes into this little spiel about how stay true to yourself, you know, love yourself. I love you. And I'm like, you love their money, Jaclyn. You love their money. And you loved it when you got it. And when you didn't get it, you decided, no more blankets, no more jewelry. That's fine. And it does sound like there are a couple more launches for those lines coming out because they were already in the works. They've probably already been produced. So we're probably going to see a few more launches from Cozy and from Jaclyn Roxanne. This whole thing is just so disappointed because I feel like it really does put the beauty community in a negative light. You have this OG beauty influencer who is well known. The name is super recognizable. And she basically came out with these products and was like, meh, never mind, close these brands, or is closing these brands, and destroyed one woman's business in the process. So it just seems really ungenuine to me, in my opinion. It just seems like you can't believe anything that she says. Like, that's how I feel. I really feel like you can't trust her because every single time she gets called out for something, she denies, and then turns around, blames it on someone else, and then finally refunds people's money, right? That's what we've seen so many times with her timelines. Now, a couple things that she doesn't mention. She never talks about Marlene Estelle and Makeup Geek, and I think that stuff kind of came out after Marlene came out and spoke about how she was supposed to have a collaboration with Jaclyn, and Jaclyn basically nuked the whole thing, resulting in millions of dollars lost by Marlene and her company, and ultimately Makeup Geek had to close. So she never talks about that. She doesn't ever mention Kaylin by name, which I think is really, again, like I mentioned it earlier, like why? Everyone knows. Why would you not mention her name? It just, again, when she says that she reached out to her, why lie about that? Like, why? Kaylyn's gonna come out and say something about it, right? And then the fact that she really never mentions who owns Jaclyn Cosmetics. She is just not somebody that I respect as a businesswoman or as a makeup artist anymore, because it seems like her one sole goal in life is to sell products. And I just don't understand that. I don't agree with it. It's just, she had such a great platform. She could have pivoted to so many different things. She could have made this great makeup brand if she'd really wanted to put the effort and energy into it, or if she wanted to take a pay cut and hire the right people to make this into a bigger thing, to make this her own thing. But she never wanted to do that. She wanted the money, she wanted the clout. So, you know, she took on the responsibility and decided she didn't want to deal with it. It's just really disappointing because every now and again, you'll see a video headline that says, the beauty community is dying. No, it's not. It's not. There's so many amazing creators out here putting out some amazing makeup content, Some of them are professionals. Some of them are just like me who just love makeup. I love talking about it. I like putting it on my face. You know, I love makeup. The beauty community is not dying, but there are always going to be untrustworthy people in all communities. And I think Jaclyn is a great example of when a community gets a bad rap based on, you know, a handful of people. She's just not my thing, you know? She's not my thing. And to be honest, I should say, I have bought things from Jaclyn Cosmetics. I have. And none of them have been great. I have decluttered basically all of them, either because of bulky packaging or I just don't reach for it. It was fine, but it wasn't great. So a lot of the stuff that I've tried from that brand, it's fine. It's nothing new. It's nothing new and it's nothing super exciting. So that's kind of all I have to say about that. It's interesting because there are a couple creators I watch who love Jaclyn Hill, who always buy her newest launches, who talk her up so much, and they haven't come out and spoken about this. I don't expect them to. It's fine. They don't need to if they don't want to. But it's just, you had to support Jaclyn. You had people out there who loved your stuff. And because you wanted to turn around and make a quick buck, you didn't put the quality or time into these things to make them good, to make them long lasting, to make them, you know, a timepiece that people are going to want to keep around. Just a missed opportunity. You had it. You were so close to having it. You just couldn't take the responsibility to be a successful brand owner. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you like this kind of get ready with me where we're getting a little chatty? It's a little bit hard. I'm trying to like put makeup on and talk to you at the same time and look up my notes. But I like it because I like talking about the community that I love so much. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear your opinions down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.